My name is Emma. I'm 27 years old, and for most of my life I believed I knew exactly who my friends were. I was wrong. 2 years ago, I went on a hiking trip with 3 people I trusted more than anyone in the world: Lily, Nathan, and Jack. We had known each other for years. We had celebrated birthdays together, taken vacations together, and shared secrets we thought would stay between us forever. I thought they were my family. I never imagined they would be the reason I almost died. It happened in the middle of nowhere, deep in the mountains. We had been hiking for most of the day when the weather suddenly changed. Dark clouds rolled over the mountains, the wind picked up, and within minutes, rain started coming down hard. Jack told us we needed to get back to the campsite, so we started moving faster. That was when everything went wrong. A loud crack echoed through the mountains, then the ground beneath me collapsed. I remember screaming. I remember grabbing for anything I could reach. And then I was falling. I landed several feet below the trail, crashing into a pile of branches and rocks. Pain shot through my leg. I tried to stand, but I couldn't. "Jack!" I screamed. "Help me!" I looked up. Jack, Nathan, and Lily were standing at the edge of the trail. Jack looked down at me. For a moment I thought he was going to help. He even reached his hand toward me. Then he pulled it back. "Jack?" I whispered. He looked at Nathan. "We need to go," he said. My heart stopped. "What?" Lily looked uncomfortable. "Emma, we'll come back with help." "Don't leave me," I screamed. "Please." Jack wouldn't look me in the eyes. Then the 3 of them turned around and walked away. I kept screaming their names until my voice disappeared. But they never came back. That was the moment I realized something I still have trouble accepting. They didn't lose me. They abandoned me. I spent the first night under a tree, soaked from the rain and shaking from the cold. My phone was broken. My leg was badly injured. I had no food, no map, no way to contact anyone. I honestly thought I was going to die. But fear has a strange way of changing you. The next morning, I stopped thinking about whether I was going to survive. I started thinking about how I could survive. I crawled toward a small stream and drank water. Then I searched for anything I could eat. I built a crude shelter using branches and leaves. I collected rainwater. I used sharp rocks to cut branches. Every day became a battle. Hunger, pain, cold, fear, and loneliness. But I kept going. I refused to die in that forest. After several days, I discovered an abandoned cabin hidden between the trees. It was old and falling apart, but to me, it felt like a mansion. Inside, I found a blanket, some rusty tools, and an old metal container. There wasn't much, but it was enough to give me hope. I stayed there, day after day, week after week. I learned how to make a fire. I learned which plants were safe. I learned how to protect myself from the animals that wandered through the area at night. And slowly, something inside me changed. The terrified woman who had fallen into that ravine disappeared. In her place was someone stronger, someone who understood one simple truth. Nobody was coming to save me, so I had to save myself. Almost 2 months after I was abandoned, I finally found a way out. I followed an old trail through the mountains and eventually reached a small road. A passing truck driver found me. When I was taken to a hospital, the doctors were shocked that I was alive. My family had been told I was missing. The police had searched for me. But there was one thing I couldn't understand. Why hadn't my friends told anyone exactly where they had left me? Then, the truth came out. The police discovered that Jack had told everyone I had wandered away from the group. Nathan backed up his story, and Lily said she hadn't seen exactly where I fell. They had lied. All 3 of them. But there was something else. Something I didn't know. Before the trip, Jack had been involved in a serious financial problem. He owed a lot of money, and I had recently discovered that someone had been using my identity to open accounts and move money. I had planned to report it. I didn't know Jack was responsible, but apparently he knew I was getting close to the truth. That was why they took me into the wilderness. They weren't just leaving me behind, they believed I would die there, and if I died, their secret would die with me. They were wrong. When I recovered, I didn't confront them. Not immediately. I didn't scream. I didn't threaten them. I didn't even call them. Instead, I started collecting evidence. Bank records, messages, emails, phone records, everything. I worked with investigators and gave them every piece of information I had. But I wanted something more. I wanted them to understand what it felt like to realize that the person you trusted most had betrayed you. So I waited. 3 months later, I invited them to dinner. All 3 of them. They probably thought I had forgiven them. When they walked into the restaurant, Lily hugged me. "Emma, I can't believe you're really here," she said. I smiled. "Neither can I." Jack sat across from me. For a few minutes we talked about normal things, the weather, work, old memories. Then I put a small envelope on the table. Jack looked at it. "What's that?" "Open it." He pulled out the papers. His face changed immediately. Nathan stopped breathing. Lily's hands started shaking. "What is this?" she whispered. "Everything," I said. Jack looked at me. "You don't understand." "Oh, I understand perfectly." I leaned forward. "You left me in that forest because you thought I would never make it out." Nobody spoke. I continued. "I spent nearly 2 months wondering if I would see another human being again. I slept on dirt. I drank from streams. I thought about my family every night." My voice shook, but I didn't look away. "And while I was fighting to stay alive, you were telling everyone I had disappeared." Jack stared at me. "Emma, we were scared." I almost laughed. "Scared?" I shook my head. "You weren't scared. You made a decision." I pushed another envelope across the table. "These are copies of the evidence I've already given to the police." Jack went pale. Nathan stood up. "You wouldn't do this." I looked at him. "Why not?" "Because we're your friends." That sentence almost broke me. I smiled sadly. "You stopped being my friends the moment you walked away." Nobody said another word. I stood up. "You wanted me gone because you thought I was the only person who could expose you." I looked directly at Jack. "But you made one mistake." He swallowed. "What mistake?" I smiled. "You forgot that I survived." I walked out of the restaurant. A few weeks later, the investigation officially moved forward. The evidence was enough to expose the fraud and the lies surrounding my disappearance. They couldn't undo what they had done to me, but they had to face the consequences. As for me, I never went back to that wilderness, but sometimes I still dream about it. I dream about the cold nights, the darkness, the sound of the wind through the trees. And sometimes I dream about that moment when I looked up and watched the 3 people I trusted walk away. But the dream always ends differently now, instead of begging them to come back. I stand up. I walk forward. And I leave them behind. Because revenge isn't always about destroying the people who hurt you. Sometimes revenge is surviving what they thought would kill you. Sometimes revenge is rebuilding your life so completely that the people who betrayed you realize they lost someone they can never get back. And sometimes, the greatest revenge is simply proving that they were wrong about you. I thought the wilderness was where my life ended. It turned out to be where I found myself. My name is Emma. I'm 27, and I survived. If you enjoyed Emma's story, let me know where you're watching from in the world. Drop your country or city in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more emotional revenge, betrayal, survival, and unforgettable true-to-life stories.